Hey, and welcome to Matt and Jess TV. I am Matt Rose.
And I'm Jessica Bun Bun.
Welcome to our new edition of Big Brother 28 live feed spoilers. This is day 17 of the game. We are coming off an eviction that did see Rome, to the surprise of no one from the moment he lost Blockbuster. He is now gone from the game. I mean, we will obviously talk a lot about that, Rome's exit, the ramifications, but also Jess and I, we love some chaos in the voting booth, whether it is a hinky vote, whether it is Ashley trying to change her mind last season, or of course, what we had tonight, where out of all of the people to vote to evict Melody, it is Taylor, question mark?
It was wild. I didn't expect that. I truly expected that Lyric was going to throw her vote to save Rome. I couldn't believe that she didn't.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe that Taylor did. There were some other things that were happening. Jason just randomly throwing out like Ryan Murphy, hey, those dates weren't available. I'm like, is this up for reals? You got Angela in there being like, hey, America, make sure you give Devens and Dee this special power. You've got Kamu in there being like really sincere about Devens's family to be like, hey, Devens's family, Rick really loves you guys. I don't even know what's going on in the voting booth tonight. It was so strange.
Did they give them drinks before the show? Like, okay, this is the thing. If you guys have been watching a long time, Jess and I, we hate shout outs. We hate that there is like 80% of this episode every week devoted to, but it was this.
I really liked Kamu's shout out to the Devens family. I'm not going to lie, especially since Becca Devens has been going through it online.
It actually was probably my favorite episode of shout outs and this sort of commentary that the show has ever done, because even in the midst of all of this, like, I did audibly laugh at Jason shouting out Ryan Murphy, like even more so.
I laughed so hard.
Like, I know that he is over the top and trying to make TV moments, but in that instance, and it's probably because Jess and I have watched American Horror Story for so many years, it's just like,
also coming back up again
I know.
in September. We'll be covering it here at the channel.
Yeah, we're really, really looking forward to that. It just felt like a comment made just for us. And I mean, ironically, if you guys don't know, like, James Gunn has also said to Variety that Devens was supposed to have a cameo in like the new Superman movie, and he had to turn it down. Who would have thought that there would be 2 stars on Big Brother 28 that presumably would have had to turn down other opportunities to be in this crazy house?
I really want to know if what Jason said is true. Like, the minute that he said it, at first I thought it was a joke, and then he was like talking about sorry about not being available those dates, and I was like, is this for real or not?
There's a lot of this is for real, because sometimes context matters and delivery matters, because Yash shouting out DJ Khaled, I just wanted to like forehead, just no, please do not.
I couldn't help myself. I am not a fan of Yash, but I couldn't stop laughing. I am not a fan of shout outs, but these ones tonight, they were a 10 out of 10.
They were absurd. There's a lot of absurdity. This Taylor vote may end up being absurd, but we will talk about all of it, plus like the ramifications, things we know from the live feeds in this video. Yeah. But, before we go any further, be sure to join our YouTube memberships, because over there we are doing exclusive Big Brother content every single week. Our last exclusive Big Brother video was all about how newbies can survive in a game with returning players, which is becoming more and more relevant by the day. And we're going to have another Big Brother exclusive over on our YouTube memberships tomorrow. So thank you so much for all of your support.
Thank you so much. We are also covering on our YouTube membership Sugar exclusively, season 2 right now. And we have other videos like theories and other discussions on the other shows that we are covering here at the channel, which right now is Silo and House of the Dragon and Ted Lasso. That is coming up real soon.
Very, very excited about that. Thank you guys so much. And we're just going to dive in to Taylor and everything right now, because like,
what happened here? Yeah. Taylor, what happened? I need an explanation, girl.
Yeah, we're coming right off of the episode here, and we'll see what ends up being revealed. But I'm putting on tinfoil hat because I have a little bit of a theory, and we're going to use some evidence from the live feeds even earlier today for this. So for those of you who don't know, Taylor actually did try to rally some votes last night, and she did try to make something happen, but it was for Jason to potentially stay. It didn't really have that much to do with Rome. Like, Lala was really the person despite, Rome not putting her on the short list. Like, she was
Yeah.
the person really fighting for Rome. It wasn't Taylor. And from also what we've seen on the live feeds, Taylor hasn't really come across as just like that devious, I'm gonna scratch my chin and do something a little bit chaotic and throw out a hinky vote. I mean, maybe she's playing all of us, and that's presumably what this was.
Yeah, it really didn't feel like that. It felt like maybe, a lot of the show tonight and conversations, there was a push from the other side of the house to maybe try to keep Rome. There were people that were trying to discuss it. We saw Mallory trying to pull in Barrett to be like, we have 6 votes. We just need one more person and we can turn this whole thing around. Is it possible that Taylor just didn't know that the votes weren't there and that there was enough people talking to her on, the underdogs here that were like, you know what? We just need that one more vote. So, like, let's get that vote. And she went into it thinking that they got it.
Well, this is the thing. Taylor and Lala have been pretty disconnected from the game for a
Yeah.
good chunk of everything that has going on. Like, even their alliances aren't even really that real. Like, whatever they have with Angela and Dee, like, they are just sort of on the outs and lost. But here's what I think might have happened here is that Taylor may have just been like, you know what? I really like Rome. I'm an empathetic person. I'm just going to go ahead and give him a pity vote. But I think
Yeah.
this is where we can insert the record scratch sounding effect here, because this is where the unintentional comedy
Mhm.
begins in all this. I think she probably did this thinking that Lyric was also going to vote to save Rome, because why wouldn't she? That is a showman, since there would be a couple of votes out there to save Rome, and that would just sort of be the way that things go,
Yeah,
right?
I think she thought that there would be a few more votes to save Rome. I really think she thought that, but it was very interesting seeing Lyric try to scramble after all that to Devens, just be like, it truly wasn't me. Like, I didn't do this. It was not easy for me to make that vote against Rome, but I did it. Like, and you could see on her face how honest she was about it. Like, Devens is good at reading people, and he could see it. And he was just like, I believe you. I really do. And she was just like, you could see imploding inside that it's like, oh my God, I voted to get Rome out of here and I'm still going to pay for this. Like, that is so unfair. And that's the way the game goes.
That is the way the game goes, and it's just really bad gameplay. If Taylor ended up doing this as just a hinky vote to cause like some level of chaos, she does something like this, not realizing that it is going to really hurt someone, potentially in Lyric, who is her own ally. Like, Devin
Right.
did seemingly believe her, and I want to believe that everyone else will as well. Like, she did come across pretty convincing. Lyric is an
She's
attorney.
telling the truth.
Yeah, like, I think she can sell arguments pretty well. Like, she even sold one to Devens to try to keep herself off the block at the end of the day. So I'm kind of wondering that, all right, here is where everything is going to fall instead. And we are going to say this just with the last few days of live feeds as evidence. Angela's going to decide that this was Drew. She's going to blame it on Drew. She's going to say, Drew, it's causing chaos in the house again. And it's just because everything is always Drew's fault.
It's the truth. It is always Drew's fault. It's going to be very interesting going into this next HOH. Depending who's got it, Drew could be in so much trouble if it's just the wrong people. If it is going to end up being like D Devens. If D's back in power again, Drew is in huge trouble. And we're going to end up having to see if whether or not Devens is going to let Drew go.
Yeah, because it feels like everything is just going downhill at this point when it comes to Angela and Dee and what they want to do. Like,
Yes.
even 4 or 5 days ago, like, the paranoia was there. But at that time, I think we were like, all right, they're worried about Drew. It's too early. But based on like the last 24, 48 hours, it doesn't feel like that. I think Angela is just like, well, everyone kind of knows about the alliances anyway. We might as well just go ahead and turn on Drew or Barrett now.
Absolutely. And we're not here being like Drew's completely innocent. He was for a while continuing to show them he was as loyal
Mhm.
as he possibly could be, but they kept pushing him out the door. There's only so many times that you're just going to keep going back until you're finally like, I'm not really wanted here. I am
Yes.
at the bottom of this. We know about the jugglers with him and Barrett. I mean, Dee and Angela are so paranoid. We even saw it tonight. They're like sitting on the couch, being like, oh, they're all conspiring in the other room. And they're all in the other room sticking cucumbers to their foreheads. Like, it's like not everything in this game is game. Sometimes you're just sticking a cucumber on your forehead.
Sometimes you just want to have fun. And Angela and Dee, their downfall in this game, if they do not win, is it's just they have honestly spent too much time worrying and not enough time like enjoying their game. I mean, not to go back in the time machine to last season here, but you can also kind of make the argument that this was a part of Vince's undoing in the second half of it, is that he felt like he needed to talk through every single thing and go to as many of his final twos as he had. And it's just like he lost kind of the social grasp on everything that was going on.
Yes, these two and their paranoia and feeding off each other in this paranoia. I mean, Dee can't just win all the way to the end, and Angela's not winning anything at this point. So, not last season, not this season. It's like, besides America's vote, and she didn't even end up winning that challenge. She's in an egg costume. So, their paranoia, I could see eventually really turning Devens away from this, because you can't really work with somebody long term if they're turning on your own allies, especially Barrett and Drew, two people that would have definitely gone to the end with them.
Let's talk now about Rome and the official fall of the Roman Empire here, because like this is a guy who occasionally had good reads, but more often than not had just terrible ideas that he decided to put into motion. Like we've talked about the Bro Council, we've talked about his blowouts, but blow-ups, but even heading out the door, I know at first it seems like him confessing his great love for Lyric is just like this beautiful, sweeping romantic thing. It's also really messy for this one particular reason. So Lyric had been playing up the flirt game with Chuck and with like a couple of other people. And granted, overnight, Jason caught Rome and Lyric making out and Chuck found out about it. So Chuck was kind of already aware of some of this stuff. But if that did not happen and Rome does this out the door, Chuck is going to then be like, oh, Lyric's just been straight up lying to me about this flirting and it's really nothing and she's playing me, and Rome just kind of really hurt his own ally's game.
He really did like blow up her game walking out the door. I get he wanted to have this big romantic moment where he really solidifies for Lyric that he will be waiting for her on the outside, but they already had that conversation multiple times. She knew he was going to be waiting on the outside, but he also knew that she was kind of flirting around a little bit. I feel like a lot of this was to stop Chuck from coming anywhere near Lyric, that it wasn't like him just thinking he's making this huge proclamation. I don't think he was thinking, oh, this could possibly hurt Lyric's game. I don't think he wanted to do that. I think he was like, I'm putting my stamp on her. Chuck, do you see this? This is what's happening right now. She may have been flirting with you, but it's not real. And I think it was really just about that.
I think you're probably right, because we've seen on the feeds Rome getting very, very jealous and annoyed about the Chuck situation. Rome just doesn't have it all together. He doesn't have it all together in Big Brother. He didn't have it together going out the door.
What a good sport, though. I mean, he did sit out there talking to Julie and was just like, hey, I got taken out by one of the greats. One of the greats thought that I was a big enough threat to make a move like this. And he's right. This is such a huge move, the way that Devens put this whole thing together, took that information, blew up his game in front of everybody. Rome took it, as well as he was going to take it at that moment. But for him to like leave and be like, hey, I got taken out by one of the greats, it's iconic moment. I was like, oh, okay. I kind of wasn't sure how he was going to take it going out the door.
Obviously, Rome is a loser coming out of this situation, and I just mean he lost Big Brother. I do not mean he is a loser at life. But you know who else loses big time? Is Allison Grodner, who is very sad somewhere, knowing no more showman's packages. And here's the other thing.
For now. I mean, listen, they definitely are like trying to show a little bit of the Drew Melody thing. Yeah. It could be coming together. These two feel like they are like really attracted to each other, but neither one of them want to be in a showman's because it becomes a problem. And they're just like, no, not interested. They can't even look each other in the eyes most of the time.
there is some yearning. There is like you're watching the first.
Oh my goodness, it is Bridgerton
I
for
was
like
literally about to say that.
it really is. It's what I feel like. I'm watching two people just like yearning for each other, but they know that they cannot be together.
You cannot. It will hurt your game. And even if you're not together, Angela's probably going to start pretending that you are.
I know.
But okay, this is the thing. I'm sure Grodner probably wishes there was a battle back happening at this point. But like, unfortunately, Ashley is already out in the real world. And
Right.
because I kind of thought for a second, is Grodner going to try to make one up on the spot here to bring Rome back? But because Julie did tell him about Taylor and about that being the vote, I think we can rule out there's no battle back happening for now, even though this is time travel, and it actually kind of feels like it would be a good thing to implement this season.
Absolutely. And they might at some point, if they want to maybe try to save one of the vets, if they are ever in any kind of trouble. And it's not really looking like it's going that way. I mean, we have another America's vote.
Yeah.
Who's gonna get it? Devens or Dee? Like, it's just they already have so many fans out there that it just feels like this is production's way of making sure that they have some kind of safety for the first 3 weeks.
Is this where I should admit that I did cast a vote for this power earlier today? Because
Yo!
listen,
Drew? Melody.
I voted for Melody. And here is the reason. Well, there are multiple reasons behind. Like, number one, she's my girl. I'm going to continue to root for her through the end of the
Let's
season.
go.
Like, number two, like, I am invested in your pick in Drew, and I do want to see Drew and Melody make it because I think it's better for their game. Everybody already knows that they're talking a lot anyway.
They're
like,
both gamers. I think if either could get into power, like we could really see something.
yeah, like I want her to get an advantage and give something that she can actually give to Drew, and then Drew can give back information. Like it would increase their working relationship. Like, do I think Melody is going to get the power? Probably not, but that's not stopping me at this point. Like, because it's just like, listen,
You go off, Matt.
I do not often get that invested in these voting for things, but this is a situation where, and we talked about this a lot in the YouTube memberships video, but just because like this season is so slanted to the returnees anyway, that they have this huge advantage.
And a huge alliance.
Yeah, we all owe it to ourselves, Big Brother Nation, that we go out there. I feel like I'm doing like a campaign speech now. We all owe it to ourselves to go out there and pick our favorites and try to mix up the game at this point, right?
It would be nice, but a lot of people's favorites are Devens and Dee. And I do think that one of the two of them is probably going to get it. Probably Devens.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, I do like Devens and Dee. I don't want to root for a predictable season. I want there to be chaos, drama, alliances going back and forth.
And that's the problem with having 3 really popular vets in this season right out the rip. And they're, first HOH, second HOH. Anyone, if there was ever a chance for like a house flip, it's just gone at this point. Like, unless they really lose Drew and Barrett, and they could if somebody wins the HOH as not these 3 vets. But if they do, they'll still keep trying to play that middle to still kind of be working with them, and we'll just lose another person from the other side. I can't stand big alliances. I just can't. It makes the game really boring.
Yeah, and that's why, like, I don't want anything to happen to Drew. I don't even want anything to happen to Barrett, who I've come around on the last 48 hours. But, like,
all right.
I want them to be okay.
I'm still not sure about Barrett because I still feel like if Dee was like, he'd be like, hello?
Well, let's talk about Dee and Devens for a moment, because this is in the context of everything that is going on with this power, because the two of them have talked over the last 24 hours about this strategy that they're going to employ potentially. I mean, we'll see who the next HOH is, but just that they may sort of throw out there that, oh, we are likely to get powers because of our popularity on the outside world, and sort of use this to dangle in front of people to actually make them a little bit afraid to make a move. Now, if you're a longtime fan of Big Brother, you can't make up advantages and be like, oh, I've got the Jeff Probst immunity idol advantage that Jeff gave me from Survivor. Like, you can't do that like you can in Survivor. But I think
you can't make up idols.
Yeah, I think it's fine, though, if you can be like, oh, I'm probably going to get a power. It's just like, is this an effective strategy? Because if I'm in the game, I'm going to be like, well, now I'm definitely going to try to nominate you, because what is this? What are you trying to do to me?
And the other thing about this, Dee and like Devens thinking that this might be a way to kind of like strong arm people. I don't think that there's anybody in this house that doesn't think, especially after Angela getting it first,
Mhm.
that these two are not going to be back to back in the next 2 weeks. Nobody is looking at this house. Melody and
Mhm.
Drew, they're not being like, you know what? It could be me. There's no way. They know what they're up against.
They are gonna reveal and unlock what all these powers and punishments are, and I have a simple reaction to that.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I do not want to know what they are. It was so much more exciting to like
Yes.
see Angela show up crying in the egg, you know? Like I don't want to know what they all are, where then I'm kind of rooting for a certain punishment or a certain reward and then be like, okay, well, I know what it is this week, so let's vote for this person to make sure they get the Jesse protein shake punishment.
Yeah, though, okay, there are a couple odds and ends related to the HOH we'll get into before we say goodbye with this video. And we'll just start with the fact that, okay, what should we be watching out for in the week ahead here?
Mhm.
Like, if you are rooting for the returnees to get in big trouble, Mallory is someone you should be rooting for. Jason, someone you should be rooting for. You know, Drew, I feel like is probably going to try to throw it, Barrett as well. Like, Melody would be interesting because she does have that Drew tie-in, but that's where
Mhm.
I feel like she would probably go after maybe a Camus or a Haley and try to like split up that part of the
Yep,
alliance.
I think so.
Yeah, I mean, Jason's obviously going to be in some element of danger if one of the vets win. You know, I mean, you look at Lala, she has been talked about as well. The last thing to get into here, and this is something that has huge potential for drama. And like, if people are annoyed enough about this, it could actually impact nominations. And
Mhm.
this has to be a record. Second straight video we've talked about have-nots. But Lala has already demanded that she does not want to be a have-not. If she gets made a have-not and she freaks out about it, that's a problem. And Angela has started saying over these past 24 hours, I have been in an egg costume all week, which is fair. If you guys
Yes.
make me a have not after you better not make me a have not after this. We are still early enough in the game where people are just looking for reasons to get somebody out because they all want to make it to jury. I know have nots is kind of silly and on paper inconsequential, but having a blow up like this, having Angela have the second straight one in less than a week over something that's ultimately trivial, I mean, we actually do have to watch out for that.
Is it trivial though? I mean, that egg costume is so uncomfortable
Mhm.
and so hot and so miserable. And she's actually been a pretty good sport wearing that thing. To then go straight into you're not eating and you're not sleeping after you've been rolling around in this egg where you're basically not sleeping and you're miserable and it's very hard, but you're still trying to keep as positive as you can. It's hard, man, back to back like that. Lala, come on. Like, I understand you don't want to be a have not,
Yeah.
but then don't go on the show.
Yeah.
It's just the way it is. Everybody's got to end up being a have not
Yes.
at some point. So just embrace it the best that you can.
Yeah, and Angela, I feel like if you had just said nothing, nobody probably would have made you a have not, just because everybody knows how hard that costume is. And it's
It's
sort of,
hard.
you get more sympathy by almost not saying anything. But that is where we are coming out of tonight's episode of Big Brother 28. So we want to ask you guys, who do you want to see as the next HOH? What did you think about Rome being evicted tonight? And also join our YouTube memberships for that exclusive video about how these newbies can play the game. Like we said earlier, another one exclusively coming tomorrow.
Yep.
Thank you so much for your support on YouTube memberships. Like, it does help us to continue to make this content.
Yes, thank you.
We will see you here next time.